Yes, everyone, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about transfers because we are balls deep in transfer season, right up to the spuds. And it's starting to go off, and it's starting to go off in a big way. And it's not just United that are starting to have bids go in and have bids rejected. And it does look like there was some truth to the reports that we've seen over the last couple of weeks with who United have been linked with. But also Arsenal are getting in the mixer, and they might get gazumped by Manchester City for the second time in about a month, boys and girls, which is semi-funny when you think about it. So we're going to talk about those in just a second, but get your questions in and we're going to cover all of the things. How's everyone doing? What are you up to? Have you taken advantage of the sunshine since we last spoke? What's this one here? We got a super chat here from J.E. Fruscione. Says, Steve, if Bayern beat us to Kim Min-jae because the front office can't pull the trigger, I'll be sick. Ten Hag wants him and he seems to want to come to us. So just get it done. I'm frustrated. What are my thoughts? It'd be a shame to lose out on Kim Min-jae in a big way because, as you know, been pretty keen on getting him, in all honesty. Pretty keen on getting him. My notes aren't loaded up. One sec. Let me try this again, because it's not loading up for some reason. It's not having it. Guten Tag says, Sleeping Bear. Brylan says, love army stuff. Respect, well done. I'm assuming you've just had a look at the IRL channel. If you haven't, after you finish this video, go check out the IRL channel. It's called Howson IRL. It's got some content on there. Me and Joel did a tour of an RAF base. I've got a bit of an explanation of why I was doing the 457 kilometers that I did back in October, November last year. And it's also just had a new video released this week. So go check out all of those. Right, the notes have loaded up. So let's get in the mix on these then. So first up, Mason Mount. What's going on with Mason Mount? Chelsea have immediately rejected, the fuck out of here with that, our bid for midfielder Mason Mount. The offer is thought to be worth £40 million. Now, straight in the mixer on this one. Pretty happy with that. Because if we'd have phoned up the phone and gone, fucking buongiorno Chelsea, how much you want for that there, Mason Mount? And they'd have said, £80 million sterling, and we'd have just gone, pay the man, right? Then I wouldn't have been happy with that. I would not have been happy with that. Because that's far too much money. So the fact that we've gone in, boom, half as much as we knew that they wanted for him, that's a great opening salvo from United. Now, I don't think you're getting him for 40 million. Certainly, going off what Chelsea have done here in terms of how much? 40 million? No. You're not getting him for 40 million. So I think it's important that while that is our opening bid, you're going to see it moving along. And it depends how keen Chelsea are to wait out, what their restrictions are going forward in terms of the financial fair play situation. All those sorts of things are going to start playing into it. It'll soon come out in the wash how much they're prepared to have. They will let him go for less than 80 million. It'll just potentially depend on United playing a little bit of a waiting game and or Mason Mount coming out and saying, I want to go play for United. But there's an interesting one. And we've done some videos on how he fits in if you want to go and check those out on the channel. And we'll cover them in a little bit. Romano's come out and said United submitted an opening bid for Mason Mount today as they guaranteed to the player days ago. The bid is worth £40 million. Chelsea rejected the proposal as per Matt Law. No plan to accept £40 million fee. United planning to bid again. Now let's not make this a Cesc Fabregas situation where everyone expects... Well, what happened with Cesc Fabregas is he thought he was coming to United. There was an initial bid, which was rejected, as is tradition. There was a second bid went in, and then everyone, including Cesc Fabregas and Barcelona, expected there to be a third bid, and the third bid never came, and we signed Fellaini instead. So let's hope that this doesn't go down the same path, and let's hope that United actually do manage to bid again. Someone's just spamming lies in the comments. What would that be, my friend? AJ says Onana Magnan or Costa, who would I rather? I would lean towards Costa. Thank you very much. Azkabaz says, don't remind me, Cruz and Fabregas should both be at United at one point. You know what I mean? Daniel says, how are we bidding for players when we haven't got new owners in? I thought they had to be in place before we could release funds. Look, there's still a CEO in place. There's absolutely still a CEO in place. And it's just a case of business as usual. Are we not going to pay staff wages because we don't know who the owner's going to be? No, of course. There's got to be a plan in place, more or less, with whoever. Whether or not that changes immediately upon the owner, or the new owner buying the club is one thing. But no, there has to be an agreement in place for normal operations to continue, I think. Kenny with a super chat says, I asked in the chat earlier, if we don't get our targets, who could be promoted from the youth? We will do a video on this, mate, in full. So check that one out. We will do a whole video on that as and when we get the opportunity. Who will be the surprise signing of the summer? I know it's a fucking surprise, isn't it? It's never usually the ones that go for the biggest money. So that's usually something to think about. Next up, let's talk about Adrien Rabiot. So Ten Hag seemingly wanted Rabiot at Old Trafford last summer, ahead of his first season in charge. Obviously, there was some talk at the time. And he was on board with a transfer that would have cost us somewhere in the region of £15 million. The deal fell through. The player remained at Juventus, went on to have probably his best season ever, and was again linked with a move in January. Didn't happen, and it's come round again. He contributed 17 goals last season, and reports seem to suggest that a concrete offer has already been placed to the player, who became a free agent, or is about to become a free agent, when his contract officially expires with Juventus, like a fucking week on, whenever. Sports Witness have relayed an update from AS regarding Rabiot, saying that Atletico Madrid's interested in the player. It's a good option for him, so I wouldn't rule that one out. But it says United are the great favourite to sign Rabiot at this time. My thoughts on Rabiot, he adds a lot of depth, and the season he's just had has been a very, very good season. And for Ten Hag to pursue him as hard as he has, look, his mum's a fucking witch. Let's make no two mistakes around that, right? His mum seems to cause a load of aggro, but he's a linchpin in what is a very, very good, with a lot of competition, French side. So you can't really rule him out. So we shall see. We shall see. But yeah, I would be cautious about his mum. But as a player, there's not really a lot to worry about. I think he's really good. Subash says, is there anyone who I rate very high, capable of playing centre mid or DM from the academy? I think Zidane has got a chance, but I think he's going to need a loan to prove it. I think Charlie Savage did well on a loan, but I think there's a step in between what Charlie's proved he can do and then proving doing that in the Manchester United first team. I think he probably needs another bridging loan, maybe one in the Championship or maybe lower down in the Premier League. If he does it then he'd be ready for United. I think Zidane needs to sort of replicate that sort of process as well. Kobbie Mainoo surprised me last season with how good he looked in the first team, especially considering his age. Shout out to someone, I can't remember the name, I'm sorry, messaged me on Instagram and said they're in LA and Kobbie Mainoo's just walked in the gym, watched him work out, and he's absolutely smashed it, well strong. So that's a positive sign, especially for somebody so young. See if next season brings anything from him. He's another one that might be able to go out on loan as well. Who was we talking about? Oh, Højlund. That's who we was going to talk about. Oh, and in terms of academy, Charlie McNeil is in a really good spot at the moment. I would be buzzing if I was Charlie McNeil. I wouldn't have gone on holiday. I don't know if he did go on holiday, but I wouldn't have gone on holiday if I was Charlie McNeil. I'd have got my ass into pre-season training. So he steps onto that pitch the first day of pre-season, redlining, running, blowing past people in the runs. That's what he needs to do. If he can do that, then he will get opportunities on the tour, and getting an opportunity on the tour, doing it in the first team in front of the gaffer might move you up in the pecking order. And because of the lack of depth or any strikers, he could find himself as the bench option. I don't think he's going to find himself as the go-to number 9, but he could find himself as the bench option, and you can build a career out of being the bench option for a season. You absolutely can. So if I was Charlie McNeil, or if I could pass a message to Charlie McNeil, it'd be like, make sure when preseason starts, you're at 99%. Forget coming in and building up your fitness. You need to go in there already fit and impress, because these windows of opportunities for academy players are small, and it's something like that can change the whole course of your career. So I think he's be one that I would go and make it, go and try and see what he can do. Because you never know. So anyway, on Højlund. So Højlund is on United's radar. And apparently the club have pulled out of the race to sign Harry Kane, deciding that Tottenham's 100 million valuation was excessive. Might be playing the game a little bit from United. Might be 100% the truth. I wouldn't be able to tell you. But Ten Hag is keen on signing a proven centre forward. Napoli's £130 million valuation on Victor Osimhen has put United off. So it looks like Højlund has emerged as the prime striking target. I also saw that we're thinking about getting Marcus Thuram on a free transfer. If you bring in Thuram and Højlund, that's not a bad pair of options for the striking options, I wouldn't have said. According to reports in Italy, United are going to submit a £52 million opening bid for Højlund after initiating talks through intermediaries in recent weeks. Atalanta are hopeful of getting around about £63 million. So it seems like they're not too far apart in their valuations, and it looks like this one could actually happen. We've done a couple of videos looking at what Højlund could offer. If you want to go check those out, they're on the channel, and go check them out. And yeah, Manchester City might be set to hijack Arsenal's bid for Declan Rice. We don't know how much the bid was, but supposedly West Ham weren't happy with any of the terms of it, whatever the package was. And I've told them to sling it. Manchester City probably come in and just add another player to a position that they're already stacked in. Although I guess they're losing Gundogan. Getting Declan Rice could be an interesting one. I think Declan Rice makes a hell of a lot of sense for Arsenal. It doesn't make as much sense, although it doesn't make no sense. It doesn't not make sense, I should say, for him to go to City. I get it. But yeah, a bit of an interesting one. And I wonder how much of this is West Ham saying that Manchester City are set to hijack it to try and make Arsenal hurry up and get their bid up. Could be a load of old rhubarb, boys and girls. Any other Paddock team going to the friendly with Leon at Murrayfield? No, we actually fly out to America on that day, so no. P Savage says, bit of a wild card situation, but what's the wild card suggestion? But what's the situation with Cancelo? Not a clue. Arthur this sounds mental, but I would generally choose McNeil over Marshall as an option next season, especially if we can't get our main striker. He's not ready to be the main striker, but he absolutely could do bits. He absolutely could do bits. Julio says, watched your video about loans. Scamacca on loan alongside Højlund would be a good bit of summer business considering where we are regarding the takeover, FFP and Glazonomics. Yeah, it's just options, isn't it? Not saying this is the answer to everything, but yeah, Højlund, Scamacca could be a mixer. CTB says, even signing my grandma as a striker would improve the quality of the team. Mujahid says, thoughts on the Vlahovic link, don't rate him. Yeah, I don't know if I'm just completely turned off by the fact that Vidic didn't like him, but I might be. Gallic Breadman says, I like that we're acting like a big club and drawing a line in the sand against paying stupid money for the likes of Kane and Osimhen. We seem to want to control the narrative for once. Thoughts? Is it any coincidence that you've got a CEO in Richard Arnold who actually looks like he knows what's fucking going on, doesn't want to be out here giving interviews? Put it this way, Ed Woodward took over and gave an interview to MUTV where the narrative is controlled and he can edit anything before it goes out. Rich Arnold went to the pub with United fans who came to his house kicking off. For me, that tells you the mark of the man. And he got so much respect from me for doing that. Could you ever see Ed Woodward going to the pub with people? Not at all. Just not at all. And I think that shows Richard Arnold is way more down to earth and way more understanding of what this club is all about. And I really like that. Now, obviously, it all depends on his performance. But from what we've seen so far, I think he's along the right lines. Obviously, you can only really look back on a CEO and decide what he did afterwards. But, yeah. Caston says, what's my take on the Premier League fixture list? It's a list of teams that United will be playing home and away alternatively on various weekends between August and May. I don't understand the fucking furore over the fixture list coming out. All right, cool. Yeah, we've got our fixtures. Sweet. And what? Fucking. Do we play every team home and away? All right, that's what I thought. Peter says Kim Min-jae will go to Bayern. They always get their player. They do seem to always get their player. They absolutely do. Raymond says, do I like salad cream? No, I don't. No. For lunch today, I'll be having Perinese on my salad, not salad cream. Azkaban says, my face keeps freezing like I was in an ice bath. What's going on with the internet in here? I don't know. Sandeep says, why can't we get Rabiot and Caicedo, get Mount free next year to replace Eriksen? Don't know. Floyderman says, if Qatar are the owner, he'll be a bigger version of Woodward. That is a genuine worry that I have got over Qatar coming in, because whether or not you believe how it was run, whether or not you believe the distance between them and PSG, my suspicions are it's the same fucking thing at the end of the day, and it's the same club and it's the same company and it'll be the same sort of philosophies. And I might be wrong on that, but that's my gut instinct on it. I would say there's a chance that he comes in and he's full Todd Boehly. He is. It could go one way, and you could have owners that are the same as City, and they put the right people in the right place, and they let them people get on it. Or it could be worse in terms of it's just an absolute shit show, and they just sign anybody who they think is gonna sell shirts, and that's a problem. Niall says the video on City with them shades on was the cringiest thing I've seen. Well, I didn't fucking make you watch. So, and also, I don't fucking care. I was having a laugh. So here we go. City fans are taking it well, though. Doing all sorts of Photoshops, but it is what it is. Damien Brown says, Thuram isn't good enough to be our main striker. No, but coming on a free as our second striker, he absolutely is. What does Richard Arnold have to do to keep on the side of the fans? He has to buy the people that the manager wants. He has to sign... Being Manchester United, honestly, I think facilitating the club to be able to sign record sponsorship deals, I think making sure that things are improving in every aspect of the club, from relationships with fans to the facilities that the club is the custodian of. I think all of that falls under the remit of the CEO. And I think things like the Cliff training ground not being kept up to date is an absolute fucking disgrace. You can go to the Cliff and you can walk into Fergie's old office. Like, you can pretty much fucking do that, and no one's really going to prevent you doing that. And it isn't like well maintained. For a couple of grand a year, the club could make all of that look sensational, make a real thing out of making it interesting and nice looking at the Cliff, but they don't fucking do that. There's no interest in them doing that. They've just let this fucking thing collapse. Azkaban says Van der Sar to come in. I don't know. Van der Sar's being a CEO, not director of football, but, I think people would love to see Van der Sar being back involved in the club, because he's obviously gone and he's got experience of that at Ajax. Whether or not it could be done at Manchester United is an entirely other thing. Nikhil says, do I think Ten Hag's position could come under threat, like a Tuchel situation? Yes. So there's a couple of times where managers get sacked. Rarely the end of the season, actually. The two biggest times for a manager to lose his job, number one is when a new owner comes in, and number two is the international break. And those are the two big ones where managers get sacked. So I would absolutely say, yeah, there's completely a chance that Qatar take over and they want Zidane or somebody else as manager. I just hope it's not the case. Alpha Bidu says the biggest priority for Richard Arnold should be to find better scouting heads. Yeah, maybe that. Or maybe giving them the authority. I mean, here's the thing. So what's I think Ben Niblett's saying, what's the difference between CEO and director of football? Well, a director of football is involved in the football operations. The CEO is responsible for everything that the company does. And that's that. Am I happy with Ethan Laird having his contract extended? Hope he gets a chance. Honestly, I'm a little bit surprised he's done that. I'm a little bit surprised that Ethan's extended. I wouldn't have thought he would have extended. I thought he must have been offered first team opportunity, in which case, good luck to him. Sleeping Bear says, will the Cliff have room for a football stadium for the women's team and a youth team and play a few at Old Trafford? No. I think you probably, on the size of the land that there is, you probably could build a small stadium. Like, Droylsden Stadium's probably on a smaller plot of land, but without completely wrecking everything that's going on at the Cliff and losing the history of it, no, you probably couldn't. They probably could improve what's there, though. They really could improve what's there. They just fucking annoy me, man, the way they do stuff. Advan says, I have to ask if neither Rabiot or Mount make it into City's team, why go for them? Because fucking certain players suit a certain style of play, and honestly, Rabiot might. I mean, there's nothing between Rabiot and fucking Declan Rice, in my opinion. Nothing between them, apart from one's on a free transfer, so he's going to go for free, and one's English, so you're going to pay through the fucking nose for him. Where are we staying in Dublin when we come over? I'm not sure what it's called off the top of my head. But yeah, we will be going out on a Saturday night. The plan is that we arrive early Saturday morning. We've got a game Saturday afternoon, and then we'll be out on the smash, and then in town for the United game on a Sunday before flying home, getting home at midnight on Sunday night. Should be a fucking banger of a weekend. Rice is overrated, and 100 million for Rice is insanity, says Red. Rice is well overrated, said GBST. Abhinav says, can we exchange ponytail baldy face for players? I don't think so. I was going to say the only exchange we could do for him might involve the FBI, but I probably won't say that. Andrew says, Van der Sar was proven incapable as soon as Overmars left and he didn't have a guiding hand to follow. Recruiting for him, any role would be heart over head. Yeah, but that might just mean that somebody else was doing a good job as a director of football. The CEO ultimately is the person responsible for everything that happens underneath him. You know, I don't know. I got good vibes out of what was going on under Van der Sar. And yeah, I think losing Overmars was a problem, but I think it was also the correct decision that he went when he went because of what happened. Apparently Laird's going to be sold according to Laurie. Well, it's an interesting one why they extended his contract then, unless it was a +1 that he didn't really have a say in. Apparently there's still a small connection issue. What are my views on Chester? What, as a place? It's fucking miles away. Glenn says, who are we playing in Dublin? There are two teams that we are talking to, and one of them's taking fucking ages to confirm it all, which is why I've not announced it yet. We've only been talking for about a month, but look, we'll have a game and we'll figure it out. If anyone knows any clubs that are over there that'll happily host us, please get in touch, because I'll happily just organise it to get it boxed off, because these two teams are taking fucking ages. So if you want to help us get a friendly organised, fucking crack on. We're looking at top amateur teams. So, yeah. Anyways, cheers for tuning in, as always. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't. And if you're looking for something else to go and watch right now, then please head over to the IRL channel. I think we're only a couple of hundred subscribers off 5,000. And it's only had 3 videos go out on there. So go check that out. Go check out the IRL channel. Go and subscribe to that as well. And please leave comments on the last video and let us know what you're interested in seeing us doing next. See you in the next one. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.